Hello and welcome to the second part of the Shakespeare Revue. It may surprise you to know that the words of the bard have informed and shaped our language and the way we speak today.
If you cannot understand my argument and declare it's Greek to me, you are quoting Shakespeare.
If you claim to be more sinned against than sinning, you are quoting Shakespeare.
If you recall your salad days, you are quoting Shakespeare.
If you act more in sorrow than anger, if your wish is farther to the thought, if your lost property has vanished into thin air, you are quoting Shakespeare.
If you have ever refused to budge an inch or suffered from green-eyed jealousy.
If you have played fast and loose, if you have been tongue-tied.
A tower of strength, hoodwinked or in a pickle.
If you have knitted your brows, made a virtue of necessity.
Insisted on fair play or slept not one wink, had short shrift.
Cold comfort or too much of a good thing. If you have seen better days or lived in a fool's paradise.
Why, be that as it may, the more fool you.
For it's a foregone conclusion that you are, as good luck would have it, quoting Shakespeare.
Even if you bid me good riddance and send me packing.
If you wish I were dead as a doornail.
If you think I am an eyesore.
A laughing stock.
The devil incarnate.
A stony-hearted villain.
Bloody-minded or a blinking idiot.
Then by Jove.
Oh, Lord.
Tut, tut.
For goodness sake.
What the dickens?
But me no buts.
It's all one to me.
For you are quoting Shakespeare. So there you have it. We can hardly complete a sentence without borrowing from the bard. But let's look more closely at who was William Shakespeare.
And so it was, at the dawning of the Elizabethan epoch, as it was known, that a babe was born in a small, well-known English Midlands town called Stratford-upon-Avon, or Stratford East, Stratford, Ontario, or Stratford-Johns, as it was also known, home of Anne Hathaway's cottage, Mary Arden's house, Shakespeare's birthplace, and the Royal Shakespeare Theatre Company. And as his parents gazed down at that little newborn Elizabethan infant, his little Elizabethan ruff already around his little rough Elizabethan neck, his little struggling Elizabethan body already clad in his first little all-in-one doublet and hose, and as they proudly gazed at him mewling and puking all over his brand new little Elizabethan duvet, they could not possibly have guessed what that newly sired babe, fruit of their handiwork, so to speak, would in fact become.
For the babe that lay before them, and already showing signs, even as an infant, of his famous prematurely receding forehead, was none other than that son of Avon, the immortal swan himself, William Shakespeare. In other words, the most famous man the world has ever known. But who in fact was he? Will we ever find out? Or will he always remain shrouded in mystery? To answer these questions and many more, we must now consider who was William Shakespeare. William Geoffrey Shakespeare was born in Shakespeare's birthplace in Stratford-upon-Avon, but a stone's throw from Anne Hathaway's cottage, with whom he was to have a stormy and incestuous marriage in later years.
Unfortunately, this is all that is currently known about Shakespeare's extraordinary and colourful life, which of course leads us to the question, who was William Shakespeare? In order to answer this, we need first to ask ourselves, who were his parents? Although, as we have seen, nothing is known about his parents, we do know, via combing through various records and so forth, that his father was George Shakespeare, or possibly even Thomas Shakespeare, the well-known Elizabethan glovemaker from Stratford's Glove Quarter, or compartment as it was also known. And his mother was, of course, Mary Arden, the popular Stratford cosmetics expert. And finally, did Shakespeare's father's glove manufacturing influence Shakespeare's early works?
Yes, it certainly did. Shakespeare's early works are stiff with glove manufacturing references. In fact, many whole plays were inspired by his father's obsession with constantly inventing new kinds of glove. In particular, the woolen glove, which inspired The Winter's Tale. The animal handling glove, which inspired The Taming of the Shrew. And, of course, the rubber gloves, which inspired Pericles, Prince of Tyre.
Shakespeare has stood the test of time, but communications were somewhat different then.
Welcome, my worthy lord, returned at last from foreign lands. Thy mission done and blessed with fortune's fruitage and the palms of peace.
All Elsinore gives greeting to thee, with one unstinting universal tongue.
I thank thee, sirs. A full welcome do I feel after my 3 years' absence. I have been ambassador too long in lands remote, in loyal service to the Danish crown. But here before the castle's ramparts high, my heart doth leap, like to the roistering vole in native glades delighting. But tell me, gentlemen, I pray, how goes the Danish state? What toys, what changes, fashions, shifts and turns? Ah, and how is Hamlet, Denmark's dear delight? Witty Hamlet, young, jocund, kind and free, of manner nobly sweet and liberally bold. Poetic Hamlet, hope of all the land, life of our life and lodestar of our fate. Dancer, mimic, soldier, raconteur, philosopher and favourite of the gods.
Hamlet, my lord, is dead.
What? Hamlet? Dead? But alas, how came Hamlet thus to die?
Young Hamlet died in duelling, gentle sir. He fought the young Laertes, also dead.
Laertes dead?
A corpse, who even now lies freshly festering in a nearby grave, with all the zest of youth.
How did he die?
At keen against our former prince, in vengeance of his sister, lately mad.
Ah, the fair Ophelia.
Foul Ophelia, sir, for she lies decomposing as her wits rotted before her.
'Twas her father's death.
The fair Polonius.
Dead, sir? Dead as well? Slain by Prince Hamlet, who, as you have heard, is also dead.
How tragic for the queen.
Gertrude, I fear, is beyond such pain, plucked off by poison by the king's own hand.
It's possible? King Claudius, he who reigns.
He who reigned, my friend, for he is quite reigned out. Young Hamlet, too, hath heaved him up to heaven.
And Hamlet's father?
Deader than the rest. He died before the killing had begun. He's now a ghost, and often can be heard intoning on these very battlements.
And, yes, Osric, the effeminate courtier.
Dead of exertion, sir, following the duel. A hideous scene of blood and, as I fear, a heavy sight for young Fortinbras.
Young Fortinbras?
Conquering prince who came, moon-like, to view the slaughter of the field, pale-faced monarch of the slumbering citadel, inheritor of Denmark's empty crown.
So Fortinbras is king in Denmark now. And, how is he?
He is dead, my lord, as well.
How came he too to die? It seems most strange.
Struck dead by all the news of all the dead. The fatal tidings shocked his delicate spirit and called him to repose.
He died soon after. He heard the bloody summary from the lips of Horatio.
The late Horatio.
Alas, Horatio! And he is gone as well.
Gone, gone to dally in the dust. No sooner had he voiced his bitter tale that he took the sword that he kept for such moments and with a sigh plunged it into the scabbard of his heaving heart and shortly slept.
Oh, grievous anecdote.
And others too have taken their loyal lives, with swords and bodkins, cannons, spears and knives. Marcellus, Bernardo and a priest.
Ronaldo, Francisco and the players.
A gentleman, a captain, and 2 clowns. Dramatis personae, as it were.
Death at sea, I see, does suit this tragic scene. To be is not to be, but to have been. Come, valiant friends, we needs must wander towards some nether room and fall upon our swords.
Yeah.
Let's finish today with Cole Porter and Noel Coward's take on Shakespeare. See you next time.
Mr. Irving Berlin often emphasized sin in a charming way. Mr. Coward, we know, wrote a song or two to show love was here to stay. Cole Porter, it's true, took a sentimental view of that sly biological urge, but Shakespeare was the first to really make the whole thing merge. He wrote that
Danes do it, Thanes do it, sovereign senators and swains do it. Let's do it, let's fall in love.
Queen Gertrude twice in our tries did it.
King Lear evidently thrice did it.
Let's do it, let's fall in love.
We're told that girls dressed as boys do it. Yes, it's strange, but it's true.
Henry V did it with his happy few.
Juliet stayed up late to do it.
Poor Miranda can't wait to do it.
Let's do it, let's fall in love.